I would like to go out with a smile. That's how I'd like to. I want to go out with, when I was a kid, my dad told me that when Errol Flynn died, the rumor was the last guys to see him, and I believe Trevor Howard was one of the actors. He said, "No regrets. I've had a great life." And then Trevor Howard sent a wire to somebody, and maybe it wasn't even Trevor Howard. It was one of those old British actors. And he goes, "Flynn died laughing. Can you believe it?" And it impressed my dad, who did not die laughing, sadly. But it impressed me for my entire life. And I just thought, to be able to go with a grin on your face, to go, "This is all good." Bam. Yeah. I have done an experiment. Now, a couple weeks back, you and I were probably both a little bit tipsy, and we had a fantasy, a modern reliving of a fantasy that you had about one of your childhood crushes, Marie Osmond, and it got into very weird and cool and bizarre territory. In any case, I ran an experiment. I didn't ask, but why do I ask? I mean, I never ask anybody anything. I always tell them after the fact. I put our exchange on YouTube.
What?
For 1 hour.
What?
Over 1,000 hits in 1 hour.
1,000 people saw what I said?
Yes. Here's the thing. Most of my life I've spent doing things I'm not allowed to do. And that's why I have all these cringe memories like you have. So this may turn out. But
now this is a cringe memory for me, and I had nothing to do with it.
You can fix it later.
I can fix it later. How do you fix something like that once it's out there? The one thing.
Oh, you've done worse than that. You've done way worse than that. You can fix
on the internet. I've done worse than that.
Oh, this is a new arena for you. Okay, so
and I think the coaching phrase there is that I've done. Now I'm embarrassed for something that you've done on my behalf.
You can fix it.
Great. I'm going to fix it in my mind, but on the internet, in front of 20 billion people, there's no way I can fix it.
It was only 1,000 people. I took it down after 1 hour, but people went insane for 1 hour, and I took it off, and I thought, okay, listen. This is amazing. This is amazing. And we have to do this as a show. And I think we can monetize the shit out of it, which means make money on it and help humanity.
Fuck helping humanity. Go back to what you said about monetizing, making money off of this. Let's hear it.
Well, if we got 1,000 hits in 1 hour, nobody knows who the fuck we are. So you got to think.
Me. Including me. I thought I could talk to you privately, but if there's money involved, I'm willing to have a discussion.
I'm a terrible person, and no secret is safe with me. I'll fucking. I go down to the local bar. I tell everybody what you said last night. Now I'm in Portugal, and they don't know you. And they just nod their heads and go, because none of them speak English any fucking way. But that doesn't matter. I still betray you as often as I possibly can in every bar up and down the Portuguese coast.
I don't mind being betrayed in Portugal, but I'm already the most hated man in Las Vegas. And for all I know, people in Las Vegas saw your display of our private conversation, and now I'm hated even more. And again, I didn't have anything to do with it. I'm willing to own things that I have something to do with, but when something's done and I'm not aware of it, and I'm going to take, for all I know, maybe nobody who knew me saw it, so I didn't get a call. What's to say that she didn't get? There's this guy with a beard in Las Vegas who's been,
If Marie Osmond had heard about it, you'd probably have received a cease and desist order from her lawyer by now. In any case,
cease and desist from thinking? from fantasizing. There's no, you can't stop somebody from daydreaming.
That's true. That's true. So maybe she's heartbroken, or maybe because actually, if you think back to our conversation, you were very defensive of her, and I was suggestive of some strangeness that I'm sure nobody has ever fantasized about her in that way. What I suggested was like Rocky Horror Show stuff. It wasn't like all of the, if you go onto like a porn site, you won't see that kink. What I suggested is not listed.
I don't frequent YouTube. I don't even know if I know how to get on it, but is there really money to be made there?
There's money. As a matter of fact, if you can get, 100,000 subscribers, which is, I don't know, 100 times more the amount of people than we saw that thing that nobody knows us. So you think all of those people, if they happen to see that we put up another video and they say, oh, they tell a couple of friends, and the next thing you know, lots of people. So it'll take a little while to grow.
So when do you want to start this?
Well, you and I always meet once a week. Let's start doing it once a week. We'll explore.
You're going to put this on YouTube, what we talked about?
No, you will. We'll do a couple. We'll see. You gotta get ready and blah 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 blah.
Gotta get ready. Yeah, I gotta get ready. Put on this elaborate costume and
you got to get your makeup done. You got to have you have to have your assistant get you up, get you excited to come out of your trailer.
Now there's another problem. There's another problem, and this is a huge problem.
What is that?
It's right now it's 2:00 here, which means it's 10 o'clock where you are.
Yeah.
You can drink without apology at 10 o'clock. For me to start drinking, this goes back to what I said at the beginning of all of this. I'm trying not to drink until 5:30. If I got to do this sober while you're drunk, I see a real disaster brewing.
And you know what you have to do? You got to take one for the team, and one day a week, you have to start earlier.
Again, this brings us back to the money. If there was enough money in it, I'd start drinking 4 hours ago. But I'm not going to get loaded and fall asleep at 6 o'clock before dinner for chump change.
You won't fall asleep at 6 o'clock because you start drinking at 5:30.
I know, I'm saying, but if I start at 2 o'clock, I'll be asleep by 6 o'clock.
Well, when you wake up, you can go for round 2.
Well, I don't know about that. That sounds dangerous even for me.
Okay. You've got your life very well planned out right now. You have a certain amount of so one day a week, you have to alter your plans and do a double shift. Now, what you have to do is you take your normal amount of liquor and cut it in half.
That can't be done.
No. Let me finish. No. Cut it in half. You add one of those halves. So you're now in 3 parts, right? So half of what you have at 5:30, you have at 2. Then when 5:30 comes, you have your normal amount.
That's ridiculous.
I think it'll work.
It can't possibly work. I've been trying to moderate intake for decades. It doesn't work.
You're not moderating it. You're giving yourself on one day a week, on Mondays, an extra third.
You're saying that
or an
at 2
extra
o'clock.
half.
You're saying that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
I drink 1/2 of what I generally drink when I imbibe. And I'm telling you, I can't stop at half.
Well, you can, because we're going to just be talking and talking. And by the time we're done talking, you're going to fall asleep. You're going to have a little schluffy, and then you wake up.
It doesn't work. I've tried every day for the last 10,000 days to say, today I'm going to drink so far and no farther. And every one of those days I've exceeded that line on the bottom.
Okay, so let me do another thing. What if what if you have your normal amount while we're talking
Yeah.
4 hours earlier or
Yeah.
whatever?
All right, that'll work.
Okay. Then you fall asleep,
Right.
you have a little nap, you wake up, you're a little angry, and you have half of your normal amount on top of that.
Boy, are you not listening? The minute
I'm-
that first, I would have to do my usual amount at 2, and then my usual amount at whenever the fuck I wake up. Although that may even be more than my usual, because I'll be so pissed off having done my usual at 2 o'clock when I promised myself I never would. You're giving me
Just-
another reason to drink. Yet another. That's the biggest.
You don't need another.
I thought I'd found every reason to drink in that was even remotely possible. And now here you are, you're giving me another one that I'm going to be angry at having done it once before in the afternoon. So I'm by doubling the alcoholic process. It's incredible.
Okay.
You are truly
I've learned
marvel.
some of your wisdom has been passed on to me.
Thank you. Very good.
So now what I want you to do is I want you to rethink the concept of what days and nights are. And I want you to, instead of thinking of it as a problem, I want you to think of your Mondays as
an opportunity.
As an opportunity.
An opportunity to get twice as drunk, twice as sick, and to speed up that that little liver issue that's bound to be around the corner. I fully understand and appreciate. Yours is truly a visionary, whatever the fuck you want to put it.
If you start making six
Still
figures,
haven't told me how 6 figures a year.
6 figures a year.
Is that bullshit that you're saying to just rope me in here, or is that actually true?
Could be bullshit. It depends how many people like us. But
Nobody likes me. That's the point. I'm the most hated man, and it used to just be Las Vegas. Now it's possibly Nevada.
You know, it's not a question of that. It's a question of if they're entertained by you, they like you. And let's face it, you're fucking entertaining. People look, I like you, I love you, but they don't have to like you. They just have to be entertained by you. Say, boy, I hate that fucker, but I want to hear what he's saying. That's just as good. They'll pay you a lot of money for hating you.
Well, it's kind of interesting you bring that up, because it's true that there have been people in my life recently, not so much when I was younger, but recently, that tell me that they hate me, but I do have an avuncular quality.
Yeah, because that's not a good thing to hear, because if they hate you, look, there are good uncles and bad uncles. And if they hate you, that avuncular quality means like you remind me of my uncle who used to molest me,
No, it's just another one of life's paradoxes. They go, something, there's a sort of likable quality about this guy. It's a shame he can't use it more often and be more likable more often.
So you start out as the very likable uncle, but for some reason, it turns sour.
Very sour.
Now, you're not molesting these children.
I don't molest.
But
Haven't for years.
You're doing something that's killing the happy avuncular thing. Maybe you'll go from being the most hated man in Las Vegas to the most loved man on earth. That'd be nice.
No, why would that be nice? That means I couldn't walk down the street without somebody coming up and talking to me.
Well, you don't walk down the street anyway. You just stay home.
It's a theoretical.
Well, there's a lot of theoretical. You can walk down the street and all the most gorgeous women will jump on you and say, take me to your house fast and ravage me. That's not the worst thing in the world.
Oh, yeah. I'll put aside time for that, because that's inevitable.
You should plan on beautiful women throwing themselves at you, cranky, irritable friggin' people taking punches at you. You should plan, to have, little old ladies wagging a finger and saying, you should be ashamed of yourself. And, you should also plan on having, people shaking your hand and going, you've changed my life, sir.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know.
What I do know is if I can change their life ain't worth changing.
You're throwing paradox into my head. If you could change their life ain't worth changing. But maybe you're the prophet they were waiting for.
All right. We'll try it.
All we can do is try. That's what we're put here for. We're put here to give it our best efforts and see, fall on our faces. We get elevated to the higher echelons. Who knows?
There better be money in this.
But we got to come up with a name that when people type in, like the algorithms will push it to the top, and then we'll make tons of money because everybody will show up.
Well, since we last spoke, it's interesting you say that. Since we last spoke, I went on to the YouTube and I bounced around to see what was popular. And first thing is, one of us has to buy a puppy. Puppies are very big on YouTube. It's ridiculous. And if you take the puppy somewhere, you take the puppy to the beach, that's maybe 50,000 hits. You take a puppy to the vet and the puppy knows he's going to the vet before they get there, that's maybe 100,000 hits. If you put something stupid on a puppy like a costume, that's maybe 250,000 hits. You take a puppy to the
that's
car
a million hits. If you put your fucking dog in a cute outfit, it's a million hits.
A puppy that wakes you up in the morning, you can monetize the hell out of that. Yeah, I'm telling you, there are people living off their poor dog. The dogs don't even know what's going on. They're being treated so well. I must be a YouTube star because this guy never treated me well before he got that computer.
Well, there's only one problem with that. I agree with you. Puppies are gold. Who's going to get the puppy? I'm not getting a fucking puppy.
You got to get the puppy.
No, I'm on the move all the time. I can't take a puppy. That would be cruel. Whereas you sit in your house all day long. You can train that fucker.
Well, that's true. And you make a very good point. And in fairness, it probably would make a lot more sense for me to get the puppy. There's just one problem.
Right.
I'm not going to do it. I can't take responsibility for another living thing at this point.
Okay, let's put the puppy on the shelf.
Okay, good.
There's another thing. People on YouTube, and by the way, you got to start calling it YouTube, not the YouTube. You don't call it the Facebook, it's YouTube. So
I do call it the Facebook.
Okay, well, it's not. It's
the internet. Is it not the internet?
It is the internet, but you're not the.
Nobody says I went on internet. They say I went on the internet.
Yes, this is
so
true.
It's the same principle.
But nobody calls you the Deke. Well, maybe some people
They do call me the Deke. Everybody calls me the Deke.
Well, nobody calls me the Primo. They call me Primo.
I actually call you the Primo. I just do it behind your back.
Okay. When you
all right, put that on the shelf. What's something else that's popular on the YouTube?
Eating, going to buffets.
Ooh.
That's very big.
Very big, huge. All you can eat buffets. The problem is the most popular all you can eat buffets that I saw took place in Singapore.
All right, well, we're not going to Singapore, but buffets are good. And I don't like buffets, but people love buffets. And where I am, by the way, right now I'm in Spain, and last month I was in Portugal. I never saw a buffet at either place. Now, my friend stayed in a hotel, and he said that this big hotel had a buffet, but it was the only one in the whole country. So I don't think we can, but okay, let's put the buffet. Okay, how about this? Now, YouTube is a form of show business, and all show business is bullshit. It's all a fucking lie, right? Everything is a lie. Right. It's a show. Right. So why don't we call the show Deke and Primo's Puppy Buffet?
I like that.
Do you think it might be
because they punch in the word puppy or punch in buffet, we're going to pop up.
We're going to pop up.
And they'll maybe look at 4 or 5 episodes before they figure out that we don't have a puppy or that we're not going out to a buffet.
And by the way, I'm willing to do something. I'm willing to get a cute little stuffed puppy that I keep next to me. And by the way, people love little stuffed animals. They're like, oh,
Yes,
hello,
they
this is my
do.
puppy.
That's right. And you know what I'll do? When I make a meal, I'll just put each portion of the meal next to each other, and we can call it a buffet.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. You know, I
A
mean,
buffet doesn't have to be at a hotel. You got the potatoes over here, you got the broccoli over here,
you pick
you
the
got
one you
salmon over
want,
here.
you
It's a
know?
buffet.
Yeah, I feel like 2 potatoes and 1 piece of sausage and a peach slice. There's your buffet.
Sure. What would a buffet be without dessert?
Exactly. Now, do you think, maybe I'm just overthinking, am I being paranoid? But do you think if we call it Deke and Primo's puppy buffet, that they think we like eat puppies?
If they actually think that, there's no force on earth that will keep them from punching us up.
That's true. Like we can get in the comments on YouTube. You know, I wanted to see if these sadistic maniacs were eating puppies, and you know, I didn't see any puppies being eaten. They were like these old guys talking about the Grim Reaper, and it was kind of interesting, you know, because they had
let me tell you something.
theories.
Let me tell you something. If it meant getting hits and subscribers and being able to monetize this thing most effectively, I'd say let's try and figure out a way to insert the name Jeffrey Dahmer into the title.
Yeah. Well, he's not as topical, you know. I don't think kids. Well, let's skip
He's a
him.
perennial. Okay, we skip him.
Let's skip him. I think Deke and Primo's puppy buffet is you know, is enough words. If we get longer than that, you know, Dick.
Dick. You can call me Dick. That's fine. I don't mind.
Deke and Primo's puppy buffet and Jeffrey Dahmer. I just don't know how to work it in Dahmer, you know.
Jeffrey Dahmer presents Deke and Primo's puppy buffet.
Oh, we take our names out of the title and we just call it Jeffrey Dahmer's puppy buffet.
Puppy buffet.
That's
you see, I can hear people punching it up as we speak. Jeffrey Dahmer's puppy buffet.
Would get a lot of, let's face it, that would get a lot of hits.
Can we put in something there about First Amendment auditors? Apparently that's a big deal too. There are so many people walking around with cameras out there annoying cops that it's created a secondary industry of people criticizing them on their own sites. So you have these First Amendment auditors and you have these people who criticize First Amendment auditors. They're all over the place. I didn't know such a thing existed until a couple of days ago when I found it.
Well, I don't mind talking about it, but you know, it's political as fuck.
I don't want to talk about it. It's boring to talk about. I'm just looking for buzzwords for the title.
I think we got it with puppies and buffets. I mean, what more do you need? You know,
I'm down with it. I'm okay. I'm fine.
Jeffrey Dahmer's puppy buffet. I don't know if I have the balls to call our show that.
I'll tell you the downside of Jeffrey Dahmer's puppy buffet. It's going to really create a hesitance on the part of those who might want to advertise on our channel. They say, you know what? Maybe Jell-O shouldn't be associated with Jeffrey Dahmer's puppy buffet.
Yeah. It definitely. I mean, it definitely switches the whole what the puppy buffet is, because you know they're eating puppies.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer's going to eat your puppy.
Deke and Primo's puppy buffet is fine.
I'm good with that. High five.
High five.